Welcome to WSA Blabs, and I like to call it WSAblabs.com. This is where we talk about what we love, and it's called speaking and transforming the world and sharing our message. And we get to do this every single day. And we have a sisterhood because we want to support each other. It's easy to feel isolated and alone when you're out there just trying to change the world. So I love this. We are Women's Speakers Association, and I am Marquessa Payway. I had to think about it. Who am I? And read my name here. But back to WSA. I'll get to myself later. We are an organization that supports entrepreneurs that love to speak. And again, it can be professional speakers. It can be speakers that use speaking as a marketing strategy. It can also be speakers that speaking is just such an awesome tool. We come together, we support each other. And guys, almost 10,000 strong, and we have members all over the world. Yay. It's so wonderful to just be able to reach out and share strategies and give referrals and just love on each other, because we need that strength. Who else is going to motivate the motivator if we don't do that? So if you're not a member of WSA and you join this lab and you're thinking, I think I want to get involved for this year, I invite you to go to join. If someone can type that into the chat room, I would love you for it. Hey, Stephanie, I see you there. So I say about 20 minutes or so, we'll bring you in, okay? If someone can type in joinwsa.com, that would be awesome. And only if you want to mastermind and share resources and have some support, then come on over. Now, my name is Marquessa Petway. I'm your live broadcasting host for Periscope and Blab. In the name of Women's Speakers Association. I'm a business reinvention expert out here in New York City, and I help entrepreneurs create their six-figure signature system. You can find me at Speaker Talk. Today, I'm under the handle of Women's Speakers Association. So today, guys, I'm so excited. Our Blab is all about how we ensure 2016 is our best year yet. Now, I have a few very successful and accomplished speakers and premier members to share their top 2016 strategies, best practices, and success formula, because we all have them. And it's so good to hear someone say, you know what, this is what I do. And I did this last year and it worked for me, or this is what I'm doing. And you kind of walk away from this blab with that food that you need to take that next step. So I can't wait. So let me introduce our blab speakers. We have 3 of them here. And then again, in about 20 minutes, as in blab fashion, I'll have someone go out and then I'll bring the 4th speaker in, and we'll just continue to rotate and make it fun. That's what makes blab so awesome and confusing in the same breath. Okay, so I have my introductions here. Anne, which is right there. There's Anne. Hi, Anne. Oh, let me bring Carrie back in. Anne Zaccardi. Am I pronouncing your last name right? Good. Anne is actually right here, one of my neighbors in New York. And Zaccardi is an accidental neuroscientist. Whoa.
I can't hear anything.
You can't hear anything? Using the ingenuity and creativity she discovered after a traumatic brain injury, combined with the latest research in neuroscience and 3 decades as a corporate communicator, teacher, author, and social media marketing expert. Now, Anne challenges conventional ideas about intelligence and creativity. So I can't wait for Anne to share what she does to really get, to be focused and help the folks that she helps. And we have some questions coming up for her. Now, we also have Regina Clay. Say hi, Regina.
Hi, everyone.
She's your mom and CEO specialist, and I so appreciate that. Moms make such a difference in our lives. I love my mommy to pieces, and love my mom to be a mom myself. Anyway, she loves helping women who want to start a business or have a dream unfulfilled, and they want to manage motherhood and business, which can be tough. One outcome from working with Regina is that you'll learn how to be profitable in your business, but also treasure that mom role. So we appreciate folks like you, Regina, because it's such an important, life-changing title. Hello, Liz. Okay, and then we got fellow leadership member, and she is truly the secret weapon, which happens to be the name of her company. Her name is Carrie Hagan Smith, and she takes your business from being unreliable to viable and viable, which is what I love. She's known as a wordsmith, and she weaves her clients' qualifications, personal story, and added value into word pictures. She says, learn to create a movie in the mind of the audience that continues to play until they have to hire you. Don't you love that?
Love it. Hi, Marquesa.
Hello, you can hear. I'm so glad. So she's really and she's going to talk to us about goal setting and all that good stuff. So let's jump in, guys, because we got an hour, and I really want all of our Blab attendees to get some good stuff. Guys, don't forget, you can post your questions here, and we will be sure to answer them and work those in. And I want to say hi to some of you that just came in. Hello, Charlotte Stallings and Sir Charles Carey. See all my speaker buddies here. Hey, guys, it's so good to see you here. Solution. We're happy to have you, and make sure you tune in and ask us whatever questions you have. All right, guys, let's jump in. Here's my first question. What's one best practice, or it could be something crazy that you did in order to, or maybe you're still in the process of doing, to ensure that this year is good for you? It could be a strategy, a best practice. Who wants to start? Who wants to take that question first?
I'll jump in.
Okay, go ahead, Regina.
Well, oftentimes we know that, especially as moms and CEOs, because, that's my focus, I can focus on a lot of things going on at multiple times. But one of the strategies that I'm using this year is I'm focusing in my business is focusing on the profitable things first, right? I end up focusing on a lot of other things, trying to perfect. One of the things I also am not going to do this year, because one of the things that I believe stops me from getting to where I need to get to, or to the next level, is I get focused on being this perfectionist. And a lot of times we got to let that go, but and we have to move on. We have to take action. We have to take action. And so that's one of the things that I'm doing differently this year, that I would tell people also to do. Just focus on, don't try to be a perfectionist, just focus on the profitable things. And don't try to make everything perfect before you launch whatever it is you're going to launch.
I love that, Regina. I call it income generating stuff you do, because there's so much busy work when you're running a business. And you're thinking, oh, I got to send this email and I got to do this. And my question is that income generating? If it's not, you can do it after 5 o'clock.
That's right.
Your income generating task that's going to bring in that money for you. What about for you, Anne?
It's interesting what you were saying, Regina, about having to multitask and do so many things. One of the things I've learned after a brain injury is that I used to think I could multitask, and I would just power through things and force my brain to work overtime. And after my brain injury, I realized that my brain can't do that anymore. And that's backed up by neuroscience. Our brains aren't designed to, we can chunk things and we think we're multitasking, but we're not really. So the best thing that I do for myself is to manage my time by using a tool called Pomodoro. You may have heard of it before. It's an app, and, I'll pick 3 things for the day, 3 income generating things for the day. And Pomodoro is an app through which I will set a time for which I'll only work on one item. So I'll work on one item for 25 minutes. And when that 25 minutes is up, I get a 5-minute break. And I make sure I get up, and sometimes I'll jog in place, I'll dance, I'll do the goofier the better, because I've learned that when you're light and you're having fun and you're being silly, the brain really becomes more creative. So I'll get up for my 5-minute break and run in place, or just act like a silly, crazy person, which isn't too difficult. And and then my next 25 minutes, I focus on another task. So I'll focus on only one task at a time. And then after a certain number of those segments, I get a longer break of a half hour, and I'll reward myself with something really cool during that half hour, like, bowl of ice cream or something. Whatever.
I like that.
Yeah,
Love
so
it.
Pomodoro, it's a great app. It's free. There's a free version and there's a paid version that isn't very expensive.
Well, make sure you type that in there.
Oh, I will do that.
But you said something very interesting. Do you guys believe there's a such thing as multitasking, or no?
I don't.
You know, wow. Anybody else feel like you really can't multitask? And Inez, hi Inez. She says, no, get out of here. There are no yeses here. Wow. What about you, Carrie?
It's just not possible. It's just not possible. The brain doesn't do that. Can you switch back and forth quickly? Yes, your brain will do that. But the challenge is the refocusing is taking up a lot of time. And that's the real challenge. My big aha for this year is making sure that I'm using my calendar. And I mean, watching the red line go down 15 minutes by 15 minutes, and making sure that I'm on task, because I have a tendency to jump ship. I get excited about something and I say, oh yeah, I'm going to need to do that anyway, and I'm right in it now. I'm going to go ahead and do it. But the problem is it's really not the priority today, this hour. I have other things, and if I have to move, if I do that, then I have a big block of time on my calendar, whether you're using Google or you're using Outlook or what have you, then I have to move that block of time, and I don't know where to put it unless I don't get any sleep. So I better not jump ship, because I'm a shiny object girl and I really need a calendar. So it's one of the things I coach our business clients on, is the calendar. And, you teach what you need to learn.
Yeah. Ooh, that's so true.
I like that.
I like that too.
Now, here's a question, because at WSA, we are entrepreneurs, but we love to speak. Is there a strategy, an income-based strategy, that you're either working on mastering, or maybe that's in your top 3 that you're doing to get in front of more audiences? It could be virtual, it could be in person, but what's that best practice or strategy for you that you're, making sure is kind of got your eye on this year for getting in front of more audiences?
Well, I always give the cold calling one. So, sorry. I love bold calling and cold calling. I will call anybody anytime and find out. So that's always been my best strategy. And, if you're going someplace to speak, then where you're going to be, make sure you know who's in the area. Is it a chamber that's near you? Is it a conference office that's near you? Go drop in. On a sales call, we used to call it do your 5 and 20. Get there 20 minutes early and cold call or bold call 5 more people. So.
And Carrie, it's funny you would say that, because there's some folks on here, and guys, put it in the chat room if you're this person that hate cold calling. I mean, and I'll have to tell you, in my speaking business, I like to market my butt off so folks will call me. But the cold calling, I think, has to be something you master and really get comfortable with. What's a great tip for folks on here that are like, yeah, I'm seeing it here, and I hate cold calling, and it's saying a lot of folks are saying. So what's your tip why does it work for you so well, or what's a tip that you can give, since you mentioned that as your strategy?
I know I've given this tip before, but I just think it's really, first of all, I think it's fun. It's a blast. I just go in to find out more about them, what they're doing there, and they ask me what I'm doing here, and I go, well, I just thought I'd find out about you and how you might invite outside speakers, and evaluate the outside speakers you invite into your organization. So I know it's the tip I've given before, but it's a magical sentence that gets you in. And I guess you just have to decide you're not going in to sell anything. You're not going in for any purpose but to find out more. When you're going in just to visit and find out more and see if there's a person there you should be connecting with. If you want to connect with them online, that's great, but it really gives you a sense of the organization when you get to drop in.
I love that. Anne or Regina, what about you?
Well, one of the things that I would say is any place that I am asking. So if I'm out with my girlfriends, right? I have lots of girlfriends that work in corporate America, and I just say to them, are you ever looking for speakers for your organization? And you would be amazed that they would be like, we actually do, or they have the connection to connect you. I remember not too long ago, I went to a restaurant here right outside of where I'm working. And I was in between, I was going to another event, and I sat down and I talked to a young lady, and we were just talking, sitting there eating happy hour. And the next thing you know, she said, I would love for you to come and speak at our conference. I didn't know anything about the conference. It was not even on my radar. But so you got to open your mouth. I mean, that's one of the things that I would say. You just have to open your mouth one way or the other. So
ask for the business. They're loving it over here. What do you do, Ann, to kind of, fill that speaker calendar or get your message in front of more audiences?
Well, you definitely have to put yourself out there. And I, as a very new speaker, this is a career I've just started in my 50s. I've been looking in sort of the unusual places. So I don't speak full time yet. So I do have to supplement my speaking income with other things. So one of the things that I've been doing is substitute teaching in the public schools. And what's really interesting about that is it's great practice for speaking, because I go into a classroom, I have no idea what I'm going to get. And you know how students abuse substitutes. And so it's really good for me to practice my ad-libbing. And also, if you can manage a group of 6-year-olds, you can manage anybody. But also, when I tell people what it is that I do, I'm finding that what I talk about is about creativity and learning and how we learn, and what a perfect place for me to be, but in the public schools. And I hadn't even thought about that connection when I first started. So look for really unusual connections, not just the usual stuff. I mean, I never thought that being in the public schools would lead to connections for me, but I'm really focusing towards educating educators now. And it's been quite a fun adventure.
I love this. This is so cool. So cool. Now, 2016, where, in January, I love January. I feel like you have a clean slate. It's a time to really, say, all right, what am I going to do? And folks are really pumped up. But let's be honest, many of us, before March even gets here, we've forgotten all of our goals and we're back to our old habits. So what are you ladies doing in order to make sure that that's not you this time around? What are you doing to keep that momentum?
Can I start?
Yes, please.
I don't set New Year's resolutions. I don't start in January. I celebrate my birthday. I love my birthday. It's my favorite day of the year. It's May 16th, if you want to mark it down. So I set intentions and goals in May. Right around my birthday every year. I will take a few days and I will just lock myself away and do something really nice for myself. And that's when I set my business and personal intentions. So I still have another 4 months till I have to do that again. So that way I get to avoid all the January hullabaloo.
Very good. So you don't really do, so what I'm hearing, Ann, is you don't really do anything special for January to even acknowledge the beginning of the year?
Not really. I mean, month by month, I'll look at my income and my expenses, and I'll have goals month by month. But for me, my personal New Year begins in May, so that's how I do it.
You know what? It's not uncommon for entrepreneurs, because I do think it's a mistake for entrepreneurs to act like they're employees and to do what everybody else does. Yeah. So very interesting. What about you, Regina? What do you do to... Yeah.
Well, I definitely don't do resolutions, but I set goals and achievements. And my birthday is in November, and so I begin that planning process in November. So December, I am really hitting the ground. I'm already in 2016 in December. So I'm really already 2 months into 2016. I'm not 15 days into 2016, so I'm doing, so those are the kinds of things. And then to re-energize, I do take, like in June, like the 6-month mark almost, May or June. Maybe I'll do May now. Maybe I'll do your birthday, Ann. But June, I kind of reset. I kind of look at the first half of the year and see where I am and see where I need to make adjustments. One of the things, of course, my speaking mentor, Delatoro McNeil, he'll say, take flight and adjust in the air. but you got to get up, you got to take flight. And I heard something today that talks about the parachute won't open unless you jump. You got to get out there.
Like that?
I like that too.
So
compliments on your background too from some of the folks over here.
Oh,
Very
thank you.
So good for live streaming. Very good. Now, Carrie, I know that you're really good at teaching others how to set goals. I know many of us familiar with SMART goals, which I think is so awesome and brilliant. But in just right now, can you share with us sort of either what you teach your clients, what you practice yourself when it comes to setting goals that stick?
Well, the very first one is setting a goal that you really want, because so many of us pick goals out of the air. We say, oh, I'm this age, I have this experience, and I should really have this. But in reality, that doesn't mean anything to us. So forget the goals that don't mean anything to you. Don't let somebody else impose them upon you. So many industries try to do that. Businesses, and of course any direct selling business, they try to impose their goal on you. And that's the first mistake, because it's never going to stick. It's not one that we really want, right? That's one of the biggest things. I know for us, you were talking about the plans. 2 weeks ago, we did our strategic planning. So we're planned 5 years out, including the financials. The biggest thing is, yes, it's great to have short-term initiatives, but they should be ideally tied to a 5-year complete plan. Whatever your, as Jim Collins used to say, good to great, your big, hairy, audacious goal. How big is it? What is it? And then what are the initiatives that will get you there? So the biggest thing I've found is that if we don't have a goal in the future that's aligned with the goals we're setting today, then we still kind of wander on the path. Or if you're like me, I've already admitted I can be a sidetrack girl. Something can come along like, oh, let's go do that. And if I didn't have a partner to say, wait, my business partner will go, does that really fit into our goals? And we'll have to take a look at it. It may be yes, but it also may be not now, yes, later. By having that track, it allows me to decide whether it fits or it doesn't fit. And I know you mentioned SMART goals, Marquez, but the interesting thing is I find a lot of people really don't know what they mean. So I'm just going to give you one tip to make sure, because we just did a goal setting session this last weekend in our workshop, and I saw some of the goals people wrote down, and they did not have the one thing that you need to have, and that is, how will you know when you get there? So it can't be, I want to exercise my determination muscle. Well, how will you know when you get there? So at least I know the SMART acronym and all of that really works, but if you don't know what it means, if you can't delineate and say, when I get here, I get to have my celebration, then it's not quite a goal.
I love it. And then just to your point, ladies, let's all say what SMART goals mean. Anyone know? S means?
Specific, measurable, attainable. Some say realistic, whatever.
Realistic.
And tangible or timeline. Yeah, timeline.
Tangible.
Yeah, it can be either.
Versions. Bottom line, and I have to say, I hear people say all the time, I don't set resolutions. And I really don't know what resolutions are, but I do set goals.
Yeah.
And I set them all throughout the year, frankly. Yes. But I also set them at the beginning of the year, because if you don't set goals, what are you doing? Just walking around saying, well, that'll happen someday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, even those who take action, though, the biggest thing is those who take action don't know that action, when they get up tomorrow morning, is actually connected to the bigger goal that they really have in mind. That's the challenge.
That is true.
Now, I'm going to shock you ladies with something. And you don't have to share if you don't want to. And then after that, I really want you guys to share a piece of your expertise. Because what I love about WSA is we have so many members with such valuable areas of expertise that we can all benefit from. What is that big goal for 2016 for you that you're willing to put out there into Blab Universe, so that when we're back here in December of this year, you can say, I did it. So what's a big, and hopefully it's a business goal. Let's share a business goal or something related to your speaking business is what I'm asking. What's a big goal that and guys, they weren't prepared for this question.
No.
I'm tripping you up. I'm pulling a Burroughs. Or maybe
it.
That's awesome.
So in December, what will you say to your January self? Okay, so I did the Oprah. So come on, tell us what that big accomplishment will be.
Ladies?
Anybody yet? Are you still thinking about it?
No, I've got mine.
Okay, go ahead, Ann.
I'd like to book 6 keynotes this year.
Ooh.
Okay.
All right.
And that's big. You're a new speaker, so that's a big goal. But hey,
that's big. And I was gonna say that I wanted to book 4 keynotes, and I'm fairly new as well. Not, but I wanted to book 4. So, all right.
Good. Yeah.
Very nice.
4 keynotes.
You're on.
It's like a big bet. Okay, and you, Carrie?
Well, my biggest thing is writing a comedy routine around my book and getting it performed. I have a date by October 30th that I committed already in October that I would perform it by October 30th. So you'll see me taking out pen and paper all weekend, writing down funny things or jokes or interesting stories to capture, because I think of them all the time. But now I got to learn how to put them in a cohesive, not just a talk. I mean, a comedy routine's a lot different, and it's kind of interesting to be studying that.
Oh, good. And I love it. Our chat room, they are killing it. I love it right here. Guys, we're about 27 minutes after. Carrie, I want you to share, because we had you on the last one. You shared with us some wonderful goals and all that good stuff. Share with folks how you help them and how they can reach you. And I'm going to bring you back on again later. But I'm going to have you go out, and I'm going to have Stephanie come in. But share with us a little bit about if folks wanted to sort of look you up. What was it? I know you're a strategist. I know what you do, but share with everybody else what you do.
The key thing that we do is the business strategy, and it's not a business plan. You don't need a business plan unless you're going for funding. Nobody follows the little paragraphs that they wrote out in longhand. But what they do follow are the actual step-by-step strategies, including the financials. So that's what we do. But we don't work with anybody that doesn't come to a workshop of ours, as we had this last weekend. So you can find me at The Secret Weapon Inc. or thesecretweaponinc.com. And our events page has all of our events on there. And give me a call. I have a special that WSA always gets. So make sure to check in with me or PM me and find out what that is. We have people fly in from all over to come to our workshops. But the biggest thing is there are 12 areas of business, ladies, not just 2. Sales and marketing are not the only 2 areas that make up a business. And that's what we want to say the most. And then, of course, I teach speakers as well to use that as the marketing tool.
Thank you. And Carrie, again, is a part of our leadership team. So I'm always going to have her on Blabs. You are awesome as always. So again, don't go away, because we're going to bring you back in.
I'll be here.
Thank you, Carrie. So while Carrie is switching out and Stephanie is coming in, let's talk to you, Ann, about many of us are super creative. But you have some thoughts around that a little bit. Because there are some speakers or entrepreneurs that want to be speakers that struggle with being creative.
Yeah.
You know a lot about brain health. Can you talk to us a little bit about how do you get that creativity, or what do you do if you're struggling with it?
Yeah. Well, we've all probably heard about the concept of neuroplasticity, and it's being marketed heavily towards aging baby boomers right now. And that's that idea that our brains throughout a lifetime can create new connections. And I learned a lot about that after a brain injury. And I really believe that neuroplasticity and creativity are sort of lifetime goals. And, we've all seen the websites that promise brain training and, will help you improve your memory and all this other stuff. And I think a lot of that stuff is just nonsense. I think we can do it every day. And, one of the ways that we can become more creative is just to by risk looking silly. I call it embracing your inner dork, actually. So at a keynote I gave last year, one of the things that I challenged the audience to do was to eat their lunch with their non-dominant hand. So if you're right-handed, usually eat your lunch with your left hand. And what is that doing? Well, in addition to making a mess and making you feel kind of silly, it's creating new brain connections. Get dressed in the dark. walk around backwards. I mean, there's so many different things. And these things are fun. You can do these with your kids too, right? I do these with the classrooms that I teach in. And I think as adults, we become so ingrained in doing things in a certain way that by challenging ourselves to do them in a new way, just simple little things, we're increasing our potential for creativity and new thoughts. Also, the practice of doing nothing, have you ever noticed that you get your best thoughts when you're in the shower?
So true.
Very true.
Yes.
All the time.
So that idea of doing nothing, letting your brain wander. I mean, we all think we have to be productive. We have to go, and do all these things. And I think we need to get better at doing nothing.
I love that. And then, and we've got to say this. I don't know if anyone in the chat room is also in this situation, but I applaud you because you changed your career at the age of 50.
Yeah.
And a lot of folks go into a different part of their lives. My parents just retired. They're in their 60s. They just retired, last year. But to take on a whole nother career, what kind of mindset did that take to decide, all right, I want to be a speaker. I want to do something.
It actually happened by accident. I've always been very vocal on social media. So when I was recovering from my brain injury, I was blogging, I was tweeting, I was all over social media I was having so much frustration getting the help that I needed. So it all happened by accident when I got invited to do a TEDx talk in 2013. And at first I thought it was a joke. I thought, oh, I don't speak. And I did a TEDx talk and I was hooked. So that was in 2013. Awesome. I'm 53 years old now and I'm a brand new speaker.
Yay!
Oh, guys, Tracy is here. Yes. Inspired, guys. I hope someone in here realizes you can start over, do something new, as big as speaking at any age. That is so inspiring, Anne.
Thanks.
Very.
Tell people, how do you work with folks? What do folks tend to come to you for, or what do corporations book you for more so?
I help people learn more effectively and access creativity, innovation. And I have several keynotes. I work with colleges, but I also work with businesses too, in leadership, in marketing, to access those creative thoughts that might be hiding, that we're afraid to bring out in the corporate world sometimes.
Well, thank you, Anne. Awesome. Well, stay put. Stay put. This is so good that you guys love Anne. Now I want to introduce our newest speaker. Make sure you click right above her head and friend her. This is Stephanie Burroughs. I've known her for years. Guys, before I get into her official introduction, she's an inspirational speaker, trainer, author, and navigator, vanquishing fear and frustration, igniting confidence and clarity in minority, women, small and veteran business owners, navigating the complexities of selling to government and public agencies. Stephanie's presentations have been described by audience members as insightful, informative, inspirational, and motivational. And I have to tell you, I've shared the stage with Stephanie. If you want a huge government contract, or if you are a woman or a minority, they have a certain bucket of contracts just for us. You need to talk to this lady. She can get you in there and tell you all the things you need to do. So, Stephanie, welcome to WSA Blabs.
Thank you so much, Marquessa, and thank you, ladies, for the powerful information that you've shared with us thus far.
So tell us, what do you do, Stephanie, what's your best practice to make this year your best so far?
Well, I started first the last quarter of last year, and I had an intern sit down and grab every contact, the specific contacts. I told her to give me specific contacts for all the different organizations and associations and chambers and everyone we could find. We still are nowhere near finished, but she's given me a large enough list. And guess what? They're getting email blasts. They're getting phone calls. Yes, I'm with Carrie when she talked about making those cold calls. I have no problem whatsoever talking to anybody. So I'm about to hit this. I am hitting it running hard. Because I'm serious this year. I'm tired of saying what I'm going to do. Yes, I've been speaking for many years. I call myself the unfulfilled entertainer. So because I was a singer and I was dancing and I was playing instruments, marching band, orchestra, all that stuff growing up. And I got in trouble a lot for talking all the time in class. Now I get paid for it. Don't you just love it?
Awesome.
So now I just said, I'm done. There's no more excuses. After leaving the position of Director of Procurement Programs for Small Business Development Centers here in New Jersey, I went out once again. I always had a business of some sort or another, nonstop. But I decided this is it. God has asked me to do this. He didn't ask. He's pressing. Okay, let's just be real. He's pressing me to do this. So that's what we're doing. We're just going out. Everybody that I know, all my networks, all networks. I'm going back to people I've known from 25 plus years or more. Everybody knows you need to be sending me referrals. Or when you're making a referral, make sure you're emailing that and you're hitting both of us on that same email, because if they're not getting in touch with me, you better believe I'm getting in touch with them. So those are making the calls, sending the emails out, making sure to let them know what's going on, doing your own press releases. Hello, thank you very much. Whenever something great happens or good, or, anytime you're out there in the public, you get an award, you let everybody know, you stay present. You want to make sure that you're top of mind with these folks. And believe me, just keeping up and letting know, I'm an old network marketer for many, over 30 years. So letting people know what you're doing and where you are right now and what you're looking for, while at the same time giving a little something to them so that they're feeling great when they finish reading your missive or hearing you on YouTube or listening to a podcast, whatever it is. Did I give you enough?
Yes, you did. I love it. And then you gave us something without realizing it. You have support. And I know a lot of us, as speakers that run our own business, we will say, I can do it all myself. I want to save money. And Vincent Strickland, who's real, she's a part of our leadership team, head honcho up there with Gail, will tell you, no, you need a team if you want to make crazy money. Right. You just mentioned Does anyone else have a certain level of support? And I know both of you still have full-time jobs. So you have less time. Do you have someone that supports you with your speaking business task?
Actually, one of my clients who I know that she does this so well, like this is what she does. She is an excellent virtual assistant to me. And so, and not full time and not all the time, but I'm beginning to move to that level. But I had to push her into knowing this is what she does. And this is what I do. I help people realize you have it inside of you. It's already there. And this is what you do so effortlessly. And so now she is part of my team.
Awesome.
This is good. And what about you?
Awesome.
Since you work around students a little bit there, any kind of extra support to sort of help you? Because you got TED. Hey, there was a question in here about how to get TED Talks. I know that's a great place where speakers are discovered. So, you want to share, or did it just come out of the blue? Or, since I mentioned that, is there something you want to share with the group about how you think the TED Talk folks found you? Or was there a local TED Talk that said, hey, this is what we have, and you applied and got chosen? You want to share your process?
Yeah, I did not apply. I didn't even have it on my radar. It was simply because I am all over social media. I'm on all of the major platforms, and I was very vocal and very honest about what I was going through. And people said to me, oh, are you sure you want people to know you had a head injury? Maybe they won't hire you. I was like, yeah, I don't care. I am who I am. So I got this invitation. I got this inquiry via email for a TEDx talk just outside of Philadelphia. And I received it at the end of 2012 for a TEDx talk, a TEDx event that was happening in 2013. And at the time, I thought it was a joke because I had seen TED Talks in the past, and I thought they were for very highly educated, scientists and doctors and astronauts and stuff. And I thought, oh gosh, what do they want me for? I don't know anything. So at first I thought it was a joke, and I ended up talking to the organizer on the phone. And the more he told me about it, the more I said, this would be fun. I'm a good storyteller. I can do this. So I wrote a proposal and submitted it, and I was accepted. And then I hired a coach, Haley Foster, from NSA. And I had 4 months to prepare, and I was just hooked. The minute I got on that stage, I knew that's where I was supposed to be. And I knew that it wasn't brain injury that I wanted to talk about. I knew that was just my story for jumping off to something bigger. Because stories have very short shelf life, so as most speakers know.
Oh, I completely agree. Guys, the chat room, the question room, they're blowing up. Do you see what I see here? We do have someone for NAFI. I want to give her a shout out that wants this. She's out of LA. Hopefully you guys can page down, and her handle is Female Exec Mag.
Yeah.
Oh, good. And she's very interested in booking some speakers. I remember NAFI was a member here in New York with NAFI, National Association of Female Executives, back in the day. So certainly reach out to her. And then we had a question over here from tech girl Crystal about, so you make a press release every award you get. And I just want to give a little bit around that. Absolutely. There are, guys, what's the platform where you can send out press releases? I can't think.
Oh my God. PR
News? Is it
no.
PRnews.com?
PR something.
Yeah.
PR Press or something like that. But there's a lot of free press release sites online. Now, I will say this, if you like me putting in all the bells and whistles, by the time you're done, you're paying. Okay. But it's still pretty good where you can just go in there and create your press release right online and I didn't, send it out. And it's awesome. You just never know who's picking it up.
I'll tell you, Greg, and I'm so mad I can't remember his last name.
Williams.
Greg Williams. No, it wasn't Greg. It wasn't Greg Williams.
Oh no.
Okay. And he did a press release moving to a new city. And I'm multiple sclerosis. I feel terrible because I can't remember the disease. But he laid it all out. I'm coming to a new city. I have this ailment, and guys, when I say he got 8 speaking engagements, he got that in like 5 months just by sharing with the press. I'm moving to a new city. And he's in a wheelchair, and he just told his story. That's the takeaway for you. Told his story, announced he was coming to the city, that he was a professional speaker, and got several bookings. Here's another thing, and Rachel is on here. She's going to know where this comes from. Search for business awards. There are tons of them. This is the best time of year to do it. If there's a business award you qualify for, search for it, write it down, apply for it, and that's a good way to get on to really get on certain radars of folks in your industry. So it's not that hard. Just Google awards for whatever your expertise is, or even for business entrepreneurs. That's a very big deal. I found that I'm getting an award in April from a business. So I'm like, yay, cool. They're flying me out and everything. And I'm going to make sure that I announce that. So whether you're chosen, they find you, you find them, it's not hard to do. So I'm glad you shared that. And thank you, Tech Crystal Girl, for saying that. They loved, Regina, what you said. The parachute will not open if you do not jump.
I love it too.
Here's a question from Gliss Life. Kathy Rose says, this is obviously a panel of talented women. I consider myself talented as well. How do I go about sharing my message on a stage? What prep work do I need to do to get there? That's a big question. So what would you
I did oh.
Yeah, go ahead, Regina. Was that Regina?
It is a big question. Yeah, that was me, and I kind of answered her on the side. Toastmasters was an excellent way for me to get started, to get out there. That's, to me, Toastmasters is the prep work. You have to start speaking. You have to speak in order to be a speaker, and you have to speak regularly. Stephanie, I know you're laughing, right? Because it's true. I mean, people say that, they just want to get up there and speak, and many times you can do that, but just like with medicine, just like with athletics, practice makes a better expert.
And then too,
Okay.
Toastmasters is wonderful, Regina, but I think it's also important if you want to do this as a business, choose an expertise. Who you're going to help? What are those top problems?
Yes.
Yes.
And you need to position yourself in front of that group. Because if you want to do this full time for a living, you got to be an expert. It's great.
Yes.
Talented. Yes. I think I agree with Regina 1000%. Toastmasters is so supportive, wonderful environment. But if you want to do this as a business, that's what makes WSA so awesome, because you're surrounded with folks that have been doing this for decades. And each and every one of them will tell you they're an expertise. They have picked a lane, they own that lane, and they identify the top problems of, I call it their who. They know who they're going to support. I also want to make sure I give a shout out to Partner in Business. Guys, if you're new to WSA, make sure you follow her. She is one of the top people within WSA. She's responsible for the 5-year anniversary that's happening, and wonderful Partner in Business right there. Hello, Gina Carr. We got all these folks. Yay! Now, before I forget,
love Gina Carr.
Question for you: anyone in here interested in government contracts? Interested in a big training contract with governments? Because I'm not going to ask the question if nobody cares.
Yeah, me. Look, me.
So, Stephanie, see, we got all these yeses. Me.
Wow.
Yes, Stephanie.
Talk to us.
Okay. Well, let me just say this. I just got an email the other day from someone at the SBA notifying me about a training opportunity for one of their big programs that's rolled out nationwide. And I thought, oh my God, this is so awesome. And I wrote the gentleman back and I thanked him so profusely for thinking of me and sending that notification to me. So here we go. Who knows you and what you do, and how do they feel about you? See, people do business with people they know, like, and trust. But here's another thing. They also want to know that you leave them feeling good about themselves. See, that's just psychology. It's not just enough for them to know who you are and what you do and have a little bit of trust factor with you. But when you leave someone feeling good about themselves when you walk away, or when they're finished having an interaction with you, no matter how they're interacting, whether it's online, email, whatever, you have addressed something that is personal for them. Whether you come out to an event and you're speaking to people, and I got to tell you, I'm big about outreach and promoting your business, really big. Why? And promoting you. Because if you're a small business owner, and I mean that from the standpoint of you don't have a really large organization, you are the face of your business.
You are.
Now, Steph,
you are the business.
Here's a really laser focused question. If someone is interested in going after contracts, I think one of the first questions is where would you go?
Where do I start?
Yeah. Is there a website that folks can go to? And then I also know that there's certain programs that are just held for women and minorities. So is there a website that folks can go to sort of just get the process started?
Well, the first thing that I'm going to say is, although it's been said you don't need a business plan unless you're getting you need a plan. You've got to have a plan. I don't care if you don't do the 20-page deal. You have to have a plan. You've got to know who your marketplace is. When I ask what part of the government do you want to do business with, and you say, I want to do business with everyone, you don't have a plan.
Yeah, you don't have a plan.
Because you have to know, you have to be laser focused on your niche market.
Know your who, baby. That's right.
Exactly. And then once you go in, there's an A to Z a website, and if people want to just get in touch with me, I can throw some links together and send that out to them so they can and I would tell you to go to my website, because you can just book to speak with me and all of that good stuff. Just give me a moment to
Stephanie, share your website with everyone.
www.stephaniespeaking.com. Now, give me a moment after we're done here to open up the calendar, and then you'll be able to just book a time with me. And also to allow me a way you can email me at navigator@stephaniespeaking.com. Navigator@stephaniespeaking.com. So I need a way to get back to you. I want to give you those links because they're really critical. Yes, you can take a look at what types of contracts are coming out, but you better know what it is you do. You better be able to say exactly what you do. If you're an information technology person, I did a whole YouTube video on this. Do not tell somebody you do IT. I want to know what is it.
So break it down.
You better be specific about what you do, but say it in a manner that you can respond to what their needs are. You don't know what their needs are until you've looked at their website. You don't know whose website you're looking at until you know who you're doing business with. Is it going to be a public agency, like maybe a Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, or a regional transportation agency? Or is it going to be a government agency, perhaps your state government, which is different from your local government, which is different from your county government? Or is it going to be the federal government, which is not just in the United States, but we know the feds are everywhere on the planet. So what is your capacity? What do you have the capability to do? And are you financially capable of supporting yourself for anywhere from 30 to 60 and perhaps 90 days? Now, yes, depending on what part of the government you're going after, there are some laws that regulate payment, but I'm not going to get into the detail on that. The bottom line is this. There's the A to C listing I want to get you so you can start looking at all of the federal agencies that are out there. There's a ton of them. But you want to know, do they buy what I sell? So what is it you sell? That is so critical. And then not that you're going to sell to them. See, I said this to someone the other day. We do not sell to the government. We promote our businesses because you have to bid on the contracts.
That's right. Yeah.
Big difference here. And you have to provide them what they're asking for. People want to sell, like, I'm the greatest and the best, and I do this, and no. No one wants to hear that. They want to know. And this is what I do. I'm that intermediary where you get the government people giving you government speak. I'm keeping it real for you.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. And I have the opportunity, because of my past history of more than 30 years of working with public sector and government sector people, and helping minority women, small veteran business owners to be positioned to go after those contracts. Over 30 years I've been doing this. So I have that advantage of knowing the contacts, knowing the people that are either associated directly with putting together those contracts and putting them out, or they're associated directly with the small business, minority business, and all of that programs that are out there. So where do you fit? Are you a minority-owned business? Well, that depends on which of the certifications you go after.
Yeah.
Depending upon the type of organization that it is. Even corporate America will tell you if you're getting certified by NMSDC or WeBank with WBENC or the Gay and Lesbian Chamber of Commerce and so forth and so on, they're looking at those, and perhaps, depending on the corporation, a state agency. It all depends. See, this is why I say, I know people they go and they start looking at stuff. I don't want to tell you to go to sites and then you get all
overwhelmed,
you freeze.
Yeah.
You freeze and you get frustrated and then you get stagnated, because frustration leads to stagnation. That means you just can't do a thing.
Paralyzed. Well, one thing we'll do is we'll have a separate blab on that where you can kind of get deeper. We can focus on specific points. But the takeaway, guys, her handle is Biz in Spirit. Make sure you reach out to her. Before we completely run out of time, I definitely want to speak to Regina, because I love that she supports helping women that are also mothers that run their own business. And can you tell us what made you, and I think it's wonderful because mommy plays such a critical role in our lives, but what made you want to focus on that as the audience that you're helping, folks that really.
Thank you. I just because, I am a mom and CEO. Right. So, Anne, just so you know, I am 52 years old. I have my son at 43. I have my daughter at 39. So I have a 13-year-old.
Wow.
So I have a 13-year-old and a 9-year-old. And I am also, launching what has already been inside of me for a very, very long time. And so being a mom and managing a business, I had my mom saying to me, you can't do all of that, and because my mom, when she was young, before she married my dad, she wanted to go into the Peace Corps. She married my dad and she never went into the Peace Corps. She became a teacher. She had children. And for 50 years of her life, 54 years of her life, she's been married to my dad. She's retired from being a teacher. And she didn't live out that dream that she had. I'm not going to be stuck there. And I don't want other women to be stuck there. We don't have to be stuck there. And no matter when it is in your life, like you said, Ann, at 52, at 62, I watched Miss Ernestine Shepherd, who's in the Baltimore area, who began her weight loss process at 58, 60 years old. I was like, oh, okay, I still got time. But no matter when it is, I just believe, and sometimes when you become a mother, sometimes people put you in a box that is all you are. That's all you are, and that's all you can be. And you can't manage being in a job, being in a career, or realizing a dream, because it's your responsibility to take care of the children that you have. And so, yes, it is your responsibility to take care of those children, and you manage that. One of my biggest takeaways and biggest tips: my work time is my work time, my business time is my business time, but my family time is my family time. And you cannot mess with that.
Ooh,
you cannot you can't call me. You can't, I'm sorry, I just am like, this is it, because I have to focus on them. So that's what inspired me to be in this. So.
Guys, everyone is loving you. We have messages here about, oh my gosh, Jazz at Lean, and that's Julie. I know Julie, fellow speaker. She says, I started speaking career at 60 with a teenage son. Talk about challenge. And Julie is all over the place. She works with, oh my God, Julie, what is the CEO company? I can't think of it right now. You can type it into the chat room, but it was something right above it. And then Tracy, partner in biz, says, I love the dynamics of this group. Everyone has a message and there's no age limit. So I don't know. I couldn't have put this group together myself. I give somebody else the credit on that one. Thank you. Ladies, final thoughts. And I did want Carrie to come back, but we are at the end of the hour and I try to respect time. And Carrie was on our last blab and she'll be back because she's part of the leadership team. So remember, guys, if you want to find Carrie, go to the Secret Weapon inc.com if you really want some strategy behind your business. But Regina, where can people go to find you, or is there a free resource you have prepared for them?
Well, let me. One of the things that one of the takeaways I want to tell people is that sometimes you have to go through a rebranding process, and so that's one of the things that I'm doing right now. But in the meantime, you can find me at www.reginaclay.com. But I will be having a free offer soon at the momandceonetwork.com. That's my new brand, and you will see it come forth within the next week or so. But make sure you go to www.reginaclay.com and sign up for my newsletter so that you can be on my list, so you can be part of get the free gift when I relaunch.
Well, thank you. And I love that you said, was that you that said you became a mom at 43?
Yes.
Yes, I got time. Yes.
You can do it.
Oh gosh.
I still need a man, but that's another blab. How do people find you?
Okay, so if you want to get on with my free newsletter, my e-newsletter called The Gritty Gazette, because I'm all about growing grit for greatness.
Okay,
you can just hit me on I think it's on my contact page, www.stephaniespeaking.com. I think if you go to the contact page, I have a place where you can click on a button and sign up to receive that. For a free gift, if you would like to really ramp up your networking skills, and although it's all about matchmaking, this is something that I took a little bit from my Dating Your Business Partner book that I wrote in this audio CD. And I've got 14 strategies for cleaning up and really just maximizing networking. And you can get that by texting the word networking to 908-223-8616. And I will put that in the chat. It's networking. Text the word networking to 908-223-8616. Hope you enjoy it. I've got something else sitting in there waiting for it to go out. But I'm just waiting on one of my coaches from the Evergreen model, those folks, Marquessa. So Taria and I have been working. That's another thing, folks. Get yourself some people to work with you. I know it's tough, but get a coach. Get some coaches. I got several coaches, okay?
Yes.
I got my speaker coach from Della Toro, McNeil. I've got Shay and Trevor working on something brand new coming out in March for me. I can't wait. It is phenomenal. Yeah. It's going to be awesome. We'll talk about it maybe another time, but if you want to know, you got to get on my website. Hello.
Right now. And how can folks find you?
My website is rather lame right now, annzaccardi.com. I'm in the process of redoing it because I am so new at this and because it's taken me a few years to figure out what it is that I speak about. But I am all over social media. I was doing social media before Facebook even existed. So my name, I'm the only Ann Zaccardi there is. Connect with me on LinkedIn. Once I do get my website launched, hopefully by the end of this month, I will be looking for guest bloggers. So specifically people who focus on creativity, innovation, new ways of doing old things. So connect with me on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, especially. I'm very active there. I would be happy. And then I will announce when my website is launched at the end of this month.
Well, thank you, ladies, so much. And I just want to remind you, if you're not a part of the WSA community, what are you doing? Again, entrepreneurs that use speaking in their business as a marketing strategy, as a way to just get in front of who they serve. You want to be a part of this. It's a great virtual network. Members are all over the world. We want to see you. And by the way, here's a tip. Who's still on the blab? I got something to say. Shh. Does anyone know our blab guest in 2 weeks? Anybody? Just type it right there. You get a prize. A big virtual hug for me. Who's our guest in 2 weeks? You can't say it, Stephanie. You already know. You can't say it. Does anyone know? Okay. I can call my buddy Les, not Les. In 2 weeks, normally we blab on Thursdays, but because the WSA leadership is flying out to Seattle, we had to push it up an extra day. But it would be the 28th of January. That's on a Thursday. 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can sign up by going to wsablabs.com, which will bring you right here. The guest is Kim Coles. I said it, the actress, the comedian, the professional speaker. Proud to say that she was my client for years, so she's speaking all over the place. And she's going to share how speaking healed her. Think about it, y'all. Hollywood is crazy and some kind of safe space. And her safe space is speaking. So she's going to come on here, share her journey about how she still acts. She's still all over television, but speaking is a big part of her world. So that's Kim Coles. Thank you. 128-16, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. My name is Marquessa Petway, your live broadcasting host. You can find me at Speaker Talk. If you want a 6-figure signature system, look me up. So glad that you guys joined me. You have no idea how much that means. And if you're a Premier member, send me a message so we can get you on the blab and hear from you. All right, guys. Have a good night. Talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, guys.
Great blab.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. It was fun.
Awesome.
Yes. So much fun.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.